A poor old janitor quietly cleaned the floor inside a luxury shopping mall late at night. Most stores were already closing. The marble floor reflected bright golden lights. The old janitor moved slowly with his mop, tired, silent, invisible to everyone around him. Then suddenly, three rich teenage girls walked out of a designer clothing store carrying expensive shopping bags, lawing loudly. One girl almost slipped near the wet floor and instantly got angry. "Oh my God, can't you clean properly?" The old janitor quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, miss." But the girl started laughing. One secretly pulled out her phone and started recording him. "Guys, look at this old man." The janitor quietly lowered his eyes, trying to continue cleaning. But the rich girls followed him, still recording, still laughing. One girl kicked the warning sign across the floor. Another mocked the old man's shaky hands. People walking nearby noticed everything, but nobody said anything. Then suddenly, one rich girl grabbed the janitor's mop from his hands and pushed it toward him like a joke. "Dance with it," she laughed. The others screamed with laughter. The old janitor stood there silently, humiliated in front of the entire mall. Then suddenly, a luxury elevator behind them slowly opened, and the moment a tall man in a black suit stepped out, everything changed.
Daniel quietly rubbed his shaking hands together near the plaintiff's table. Judge Judy noticed immediately. Interesting, very interesting, because Daniel didn't look angry. He looked emotionally exhausted. Judge Judy softly asked, "How long did you work at Jefferson High School?" Daniel answered quietly, 36 years. The courtroom reacted instantly. Judge Judy slowly nodded. 36 years. Madison smirked carelessly. "That honestly sounds depressing." Boom. The courtroom atmosphere turned ice cold. Judge Judy stared directly at Madison now. And, honestly, even the audience looked shocked by her arrogance. Daniel quietly looked down again, then softly spoke for the first time since entering court. "My wife worked there too." Complete silence. Judge Judy listened carefully. "She passed away 8 years ago." The atmosphere changed instantly. Daniel quietly continued. "She taught history." Boom! That line emotionally shifted the courtroom. Judge Judy softened slightly. "You stayed after she died." Daniel nodded once. "Yes, Mom." "Why?" Daniel looked down briefly at his old janitor gloves resting beside the plaintiff's table, then softly answered, "Because the school was the last place I still felt close to her." Complete silence filled the courtroom. Madison's expression weakened slightly for the first time all hearing. Judge Judy carefully reviewed another document from the employee file. Then suddenly, her expression changed. "Interesting, very interesting." Judge Judy slowly lifted the document higher. "Well," dangerous pause. "That changes everything." The courtroom became completely silent again. Judge Judy slowly looked toward Madison. "These documents say Daniel Brooks isn't just a school janitor." Boom. Madison's confidence weakened instantly. Judge Judy adjusted her glasses carefully. "He's a decorated military veteran." The courtroom exploded with reactions. Madison's face completely lost color. Several people inside the courtroom literally leaned forward in shock. Judge Judy slowly folded her arms. "So while you mocked this man for cleaning school floors," dangerous pause, "you were humiliating a decorated veteran." Boom. The audience reacted loudly again. Daniel quietly stared toward the courtroom floor, still calm, still humble. Judge Judy noticed immediately. Interesting, because despite the humiliation, Daniel still carried himself with dignity. Madison immediately shook her head nervously. "That's impossible." Judge Judy calmly held up the military document. "No." Dangerous pause. "It's paperwork." Boom. The courtroom reacted instantly. Daniel quietly folded his hands together near the plaintiff's table, while courtroom evidence screens displayed military service records. Judge Judy carefully reviewed the file again. "These documents show Mr. Brooks served 2 combat tours overseas." Complete silence filled the courtroom. Madison looked completely frozen now. Judge Judy slowly looked back toward Daniel. "You were in the Army?" Daniel nodded softly. "Yes, Mom." The courtroom listened carefully. 22 years. Judge Judy continued reading silently. "And according to these records," dangerous pause, "you rescued wounded soldiers during an ambush despite being injured yourself." Boom. Several people inside the courtroom visibly reacted emotionally. Daniel quietly looked down at the floor again. Still humble, still calm, Judge Judy noticed immediately. Interesting, very interesting. Madison quietly lowered her eyes now. No confidence left. No TikTok attitude left. Judge Judy slowly removed her glasses. You mocked a man who spent decades serving students and serving his country. Silence. A man who risked his life for strangers. Another silence. And you humiliated him publicly because of a janitor uniform. Boom. The courtroom became painfully quiet. Daniel quietly rubbed his old janitor gloves together while staring down at the plaintiff's table. Judge Judy softly asked, "Why did you continue working as a janitor after military retirement?" Daniel smiled faintly for the first time all hearing. "Because helping kids reminded me of my wife." Complete silence filled the courtroom. Madison quietly started crying now. But Judge Judy still wasn't interested in comforting her, because Daniel never received comfort while strangers laughed at him online. Judge Judy slowly pointed toward the courtroom evidence screens showing clips from the viral TikTok live stream. You turned a veteran into internet entertainment. Boom! The audience reacted loudly again. Madison covered her face. Judge Judy's voice became colder, and millions of people joined you. Silence. You looked at a janitor and assumed he deserved less respect. Another silence. That tells this court far more about your character than his. Boom. Madison quietly cried harder. Judge Judy carefully looked back toward Daniel one final time. "Mr. Brooks." Daniel looked up softly. "What was the hardest part of this experience?" Daniel stayed silent for several seconds, then quietly answered, "My grandson saw the video." Complete silence filled the courtroom instantly. Daniel's voice weakened slightly. He asked why people laugh at heroes once they get old. Boom, that line emotionally crushed the entire courtroom. The courtroom remained completely silent after Daniel spoke. He asked why people laugh at heroes once they get old. Nobody moved. Nobody even looked comfortable anymore. Because suddenly, humiliation wasn't about Daniel alone. Now it reached his family. Judge Judy slowly leaned back while courtroom lights reflected across the polished wooden floor beneath the plaintiff's table. Daniel quietly stared down at his old janitor gloves. "My grandson stopped telling people I was in the army." Boom! Several audience members visibly reacted emotionally. Madison quietly cried at the defense table now, but honestly, nobody inside the courtroom felt sorry for her anymore. Judge Judy's expression hardened instantly. "You know what social media has done to people?" Nobody answered. "It has convinced them uniforms determine human value." Silence. "That famous people deserve respect." Dangerous pause. "And workers deserve humiliation." Boom, the courtroom became painfully quiet. Judge Judy slowly pointed toward Daniel. "This man spent decades serving students with dignity." Silence. "He served his country." Another silence. And all Ms. Reed saw. Judge Judy glanced coldly toward the defense table. Was a janitor uniform. Boom, Madison completely broke down emotionally. No influencer attitude left. No arrogance left. No performance left. Just regret. Real regret. Judge Judy slowly removed her glasses again. "Mr. Brooks." Daniel looked up quietly. "I cannot erase what happened to you." The courtroom became still again. "But I hope you understand something important." Daniel listened carefully. "The people mocking you revealed their character." Dangerous pause. "Not yours." Daniel's eyes watered slightly. He quietly nodded once. "Thank you, Judge." Judge Judy then slowly looked back toward Madison one final time. "Young people spend so much time chasing attention online." Silence. "That they forget humiliation follows people home." Boom. Madison quietly lowered her head completely. Judge Judy folded the military documents together before delivering one final sentence that emotionally crushed the courtroom. "Never mistake someone's job for their value as a human being." Complete silence filled the room. And as Daniel quietly picked up his old janitor gloves before leaving the courtroom, nobody inside saw a poor school janitor anymore. They saw a man with more dignity than everyone who laughed at him combined.